Greetings everyone, welcome to the part B of this tutorial section, and we will now begin the installation and the process of the Raspberry Pi. So let's open the browser and you will type in raspberrypi.org. I'll leave the descriptions down below anyway. So go ahead to the software sections and select our software. Scroll down and you will see your downloads for the Windows. Now at this point you need to understand that you have a Raspberry Pi board, the electronic board itself, and the micro SD card, so SD cards that came with it or you have bought separately. So what's going to happen now, this is going to get the Raspberry operating system's image and write that to your SD card. So go ahead now and insert your SD card. So I'm going to insert mine to this computer. Now some of the computers do come with the SD card reader, but if they don't, then you have to get one for yourself too. So let's go ahead and insert it. So, and it should, yep, that's it. So we have a new volume. So it's, and another thing you can do, if you bought a fresh SD card, you can go ahead and format them by going to your computer and then right click on the on your SD card and then format. Basically, it's pretty easy. So I'll go ahead and download the Windows version of the Imager. And I'll pause the recording. Once I'm done, I'll unpause back. So we have finished the downloading of the image file, .exe file, and go ahead and open it from here, or either from the downloads or download folder itself. I'll minimize my screen here. Let's go ahead and install that. So I'll pause here too. After your installation, go ahead and run the Imager. And it should open. Now choose your operating system. So I'll go ahead with the Raspberry Pi operating system here. Choose your SD card. I'll go with my SD card right here, and then go ahead and finish with the right click over here. And it will give you that, do you want to, are you sure you want to continue? Yes, I do. So, and then it will prepare the drive to write the operating system to it. And what I'll do in the meantime, I'll pause, because this process will take some time, and once I'm finished, I'll unpause back again. So now I have successfully written the Raspbian operating system to my SD card, and you can see it popped up a message that has been successful. So go ahead and continue, and now you can close the program. Then you can eject the SD card from here. So if you right click and eject the SD card, that will do it. So I'll go ahead and do that. So once you have done that, you probably have to insert your SD card to your Raspberry Pi and set it up with the keyboard, mouse, and the HDMI cable connecting to your monitor. So go ahead and do that, and then you begin the process of setting up your Raspberry Pi. It's pretty easy, to be honest. So you put your username, password that you want to create, then you connect to your Wi-Fi network and all this. So, and then run a little update if you require to do so. So go ahead and do those, and you can post this video, and then you can come back for the next section that we're gonna go ahead. So for the next sections, I have set up virtual machines with the Raspberry Pi here, and I'll try zooming in. And what happened is that I wanted to show that how the test process can be done while you are on your Raspberry Pi and on any other machine, just to verify that the bot is responding. You can do it on the Raspberry Pi too. But for this, to capture both of the scene, I decided to go ahead with the virtual machine and set up my Raspberry Pi here rather than just physical machine itself. So from here, what you can do, if you want the shortcut and you want to cut the corner here, you don't want to do this the bit I'm going to do, then what you can do is just copy your entire source code file that you have in your local computer, put it on another USB drive, and go ahead, and once you finish your setting up, you can paste the file in your preferred directory. That could be desktop, documents, etc., wherever you would like it to be. So go ahead and do that. And if you want to follow me here, and then stick here and then follow me what I'm doing exactly. So this process would also apply to if you're using your cloud. So on the cloud, what happened is that you might not have the GUI version of your desktop where you will be given a terminal session to interact with your virtual machines, or you probably have to SSH into your virtual machines, or your cloud machines based on their given information, whatever instructions they have given. So this will be very beneficial if you follow what I'm exactly doing. So I'll assume that you have Raspberry Pi set up and everything. So I'll go ahead and open the terminal. So this is what something would look similar to your cloud machines if you set up one. And I'll go ahead and change the directory to desktop. And I'll check if there's any files in there. So with the list directory command, and it seems to be there is none. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to remotely fetch all the files that I have pushed to my GitHub account. If you remember, we were committing our files to GitHub. So we're going to clone that file right here. So let's go ahead and open up the browser, and quickly we'll go to our GitHub profile. And for me, I'll go to repositories, and same for you. And then find the repository they want to clone. So that in this case, this is the one I was been working all this time throughout the tutorial. Sorry guys, I'm on VPN, so hence there will be some delay. And now you can see there's a clone button there. So if you click here, it will give you the URL for the clone, or you can download the zip file. So the one we're going to do now is basically copy this and then basically paste it to our terminal. Now, if you're in a cloud, you can directly copy and paste, but in my case, I'm using virtual machines, so I will have to actually type this in properly. So basically Clash of Clans bandboard.it. Okay, so I'll have to type that in. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And I'll go here, ensure that you're in the right directory, and then go ahead and type in git clone, and then basically the name of the directory, the name of the web page, which is HTTPS. So I'll quickly bring this up here so it'll be easy for me to see it too. So HTTPS, and then GitHub, then .com, then slash, then my name of my GitHub account, then the name of the repository here, so clash dash of dash clans, I believe it's Clash of Clans, yeah, the capital, then dash, then dash, import. So you go ahead and type your repository name the way you set up here. And if you haven't set up repository, then don't worry about this specific step. You can skip the specific step and then move to your next step, which is basically going into that directory. And then git. So I'll go ahead and push enter. So for me, it will immediately clone. For you, if you have a private repository, then it will ask for your username and the password. So basically the username of your GitHub account and then followed by the password. So let's go ahead and do the list directory again. Right, we can see a file. So let me minimize that screen. So we can see a file right here. And what we'll do, we will change our directory to that. So I'll go ahead and copy here just to save some time, guys. And paste it. Oh, okay, let me try again. Right. And then go ahead and press enter. Oh, okay, there is no file. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy it all the way to the end. I do apologize for that. And then change directory, cd, and then paste it here, space, and then paste, basically. And you should be good. Now within the directory, so if I do list again, you will be able to see all the list of the files. So if you've been successful this far, then that's absolutely fine. And if you have copied, so all you have to do is change your directory to that specific file. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create our virtual environment. So this is what we have decided. So in step by step, we're going to create our environment, then then activate our environment, and then install our requirements.txt file. So we're going to install the requirements that we need, and then basically go ahead and trigger our bot. Right? So let's go ahead and do that. So to create a virtual environment, you're going to type in Python -m vnv, and then basically whatever you want to call this. I can call this band underscore bot underscore env. Sorry, I'm just going to keep the naming convention the small letter here. So go ahead, whatever you want to name, you can name, but I'm just going to put Python 3 here because I do know that in Linux it might, in the Raspberry Pi might conflict, because I think they do also come with Python 2, but I'm not sure. We're going to find out in a minute. Right, and let's wait for some time and see if we have the virtual environment here. So okay, it's been successful. So now what we're going to do is activate that virtual environment, right? So let's go vim, and let's go ahead and we'll type in source, then space, then we're going to say the name of the virtual environment, which is band underscore board underscore env in my case. So whatever you have named, go ahead and type that in, and then bin /activate. So we'll go ahead and now activate that. So you can immediately see that something has appeared just before your terminal's name, right? So this means we have activated our virtual environment. So now we're ready to set and go with the installing all the requirements.txt files. And just before, I just clocked on something on my head that in case your Python 3 or Python is not showing up on your terminal, it should, but just in case something went wrong, then you can do something like this. So you can do sudo apart -get, then install Python 3. So that will install your Python 3 if you don't have one, right? So now let's go ahead and install our requirements.txt. So for that, pip3, and then install -r or -r space requirements, sorry, dot txt. So that's the file that we have set up right here, which is requirements. Let me just double check the spelling. I think there is R-E-Q-E there. I can see, so I'll go ahead and change that. I don't know, I must have made a mistake when I was rushing. Okay. Okay, it's a huge mistake. Sorry guys, I just have to change that. Yeah, okay, R-E and then MENTS. Okay, requirements.txt. So let's go ahead and push enter. Hopefully I did this correctly. Right. Okay, so it is now doing the collections for them. So it has been successful, what I've put. So make sure the spellings are correct, guys, because I'm recording and this is my first series. There will be some mistakes here and there, so I do apologize for that. I will try to improve them on the next series or any next video I make. So now we have successfully installed our requirements overall for the project. And before you go ahead and run the Python file, you probably want to get your remember you have the env file, and I didn't have the I set my env file not to be cloned or not to be pushed to the repository, although my repository is public for you, available for you guys, and for you to have a template. I actually made that available on my GitHub repository, but however it didn't actually clone it, I believe so, but I will check it in a minute. If it cloned or not, we'll find out in a minute. But if for you it must not have been cloned. If it did, you can also check now. We can go and check if there's any hidden files in there to do so. Now on the terminal, all the files are by default will show up, so you don't have to worry about it. Because it's a physical machine, we can go back and forth in there. But I'm just showing this in these steps in case if you use cloud machines and you kind of like want to follow this tutorial, but then you are like, I didn't actually add that, so I didn't want it to miss out in here. So let's go ahead and get the env file here. If you have copied from your local directory, local machines, or your another machine, and then you have inserted your USB and you have copied the files, then you're absolutely fine. Then you can rest assured that your env file is available here. But in this case, we're gonna do these checks. So let's go ahead and do the checks together. So I'm gonna go to files here, and let's go to desktop real quick. And here, okay, so I can already see there's an env file. So this is what I mean by hidden and unhidden. And if you can't see a hidden or unhidden files, so probably by default you'll be like this. If you come here, and if you want to show the hidden files, you right click and do show hidden, basically, and it will show up. So let's go ahead and open with the text editor. And we can see, okay, this is empty, so as I expected. So I put this as a template on my repository just for you guys to have it, just in case if you needed some references and something went wrong in the video. So what I'll delete this one because I have prepared myself one. Yes, I will do that. I have prepared myself one, so just to be secure, and I didn't want to share my credentials. So I'll go ahead and cut this and paste it here. Now, when you're in cloud, you probably will not have to do this, and you can actually copy from your local machines to your cloud machine. So if you do Control C or whatever, Command C, and then Command V or Control V. Basically, you are allowed to do those things, or even right click copy and then right click on the virtual machine and paste it there. So you will be absolutely fine because you're going through terminal sessions. You'll be fine. So now we have done this part. So make sure you actually, when you did a local copy, you have that env file available there, so you will be able to go through that. So now we can log in to our band, and the band group that we have created, we will go and start our testing there. So let me go into this band. This is my user account, so you potentially don't have to log in to your bond where the account is set to be, or the account is pretending to be bought here. You don't necessarily have to log in there. You can log in with another account just to test and see if it interacts with the other users, right? So that's what we're going to do. So let's go back to our terminal, and let's do Python 3 and then main.py, right? So we will do that and then come back to our browser and test our commands. So now go ahead and push enter here to confirm that bot has started. So bot is online and we cannot see any error message popping out. That means we have been successful so far. So now we can go back to our band. If you have logged in, if you're not, then please do currently log into your band. And we will do the basic command, which is help first, to see if the bot is responding. So we will do the help command, and we will go ahead and refresh. And after the refresh, we can see the band has responded. The bot has responded actually with the required with the command that we have required the information for, or asked the information for. So here are the list of the bot commands: clan, players, wordlog, jokes. So let's go ahead and do the first command, which is the clan. Go ahead and copy that and go above. Do it here. Let it load us and paste here, and then I'll go ahead and insert a tag. So I'm just going to do it as an example tag here. So 9U29Q2VL. So I should do, and I'll go ahead and post. And I'll go ahead and refresh because it's not refreshing, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So we can see it is refreshing. And we'll just wait for it to fetch the data, right? Let's wait. I'm on VPN, guys, so it is taking me longer. And after the refresh, now we can see the bot has sent us the data back. So we have asked for a clan, it fetched the data, and it has sent the data. So it means we have successfully deployed our bot into the virtual machines in this case, or a physical machine, you could say, because it's a Raspberry Pi. So I will go ahead and exit out from here. So it's just Control-C, and then it will close down the session for the program itself. So now I want to discuss something here. So this way, it's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong if you're just getting started. But what happens is that when you move to cloud, you shut your machines, then all the sessions are then getting shut down in the same time. So in that case, you probably want to do something like that. After your session is killed or stopped, you want your Python script to run, right? So in order to do that, we have few different methods here, but I'm just going to tell you here the easy method to go with. So you can do like something like worker files that we do for Heroku. Sometimes you can do something similar to that if you want to create. And then you can do tmux. Tmux is also another thing you can do. Have a look on the online, do some research, pick the one that fits your need. And the one I suggest is the NoHop. So the NoHop, what will happen is that it will append your Python file to the processing of the virtual machine with the ID assigned to it. And this will something look like this. So you'll probably put, I'll just move the cursor, NoHop, then space, then slash, in this case home, slash pi, I guess it's Python home, Raspberry Pi, and then probably would be desktop. Then the name of the file, so basically the name of the file, I'll say name of file, and then basically slash, and then the main dot pi, and then space, and you just gotta put this end at the end. So make sure from this point right here, it's just the directory, guys, so nothing complicated here. It's just where your file allocated, and that's all. And when you're going to add that, and when you're going to push enter here, is what it's going to do, it's going to show you the PID, which is processing ID number, which process has been added to. And then even if you shut down your virtual machine at that point, what will happen is that this file will be constantly running. And if you wanted to come back and do something with that file, you could kill, and then that PID basically, so whatever the ID is there, and you could kill that. To do that. So that's the extra tip for you. Pick the one that is probably I would say suitable for your need and whatever services you're using. Now this goes for the Raspberry Pi setup and a simple board working and getting it run. So it's pretty straightforward and simple, and I hope you are able to follow along with me. Let me know if there is any issues, and I'll try to get back to you. So now I want to share a few information with you before I go ahead and do the end discussion. Now on my browser, you can see there's something called PuTTY. PuTTY is a Windows SSH and Telnet client piece of software that connects remotely to your Raspberry Pi. Now, if you're planning on setting up this Raspberry Pi and living out somewhere, let's say next to your router, where you can have access to your Ethernet cables or whatever you want to place it, but there's a ease of access. There's something you can do here is that you can open up the command prompt through the SSH and then interact with your Raspberry Pi. With Linux and Mac, what you can do is that you can do SSH and then the IP address of the Raspberry Pi, in this case the local IP address that was assigned by your router to your Raspberry Pi, and you can SSH into it. But before you can do that, you have to enable that in your Raspberry Pi settings. So you can actually check that out into your Raspberry Pi official website and go to their documentation and do check that out. And now, if you're not that terminal person who likes that screen and sort of stuff, then there's the other options such as Real VNC. So you can connect to the client and actually have that GUI presenting like a virtual machine in front of your computer, so you can interact with, just like you did how you physically connected your Raspberry Pi, you can actually do it through Real VNC. Now I'm just showing the examples here. If you find any other software that does the same, go ahead and use it. It's totally up to you. I'm just showing as an example here. So I'll go ahead and close this. And now, before I move to my slides, I just want to talk about this cloud service. I have used them quite a long time ago, and they're very beginner friendly, which I have found, because believe me, when you do AWS or Google Cloud, they actually have the course in themselves, and you have to get a certification. Obviously, for not setting up the bot, you have to get certification. You can actually do that pretty easy, but it is not as easy as you think. But Linode, where it is that it already optimized package, and then basically giving you for as cheap as possible. So how many CPU you pick, how much RAM you pick, all depends on that, and how many network requests you want to do. Basically, that will be set for you too. So I think Linode is a beginner friendly something that I would want to recommend for this case. But again, like I said, go ahead and search online, see which one fits that one you're looking for here. It's just my suggestions that a lot of these cloud services have a lot of complication in terms of that. But Linode, I found quite a long time ago that it was pretty easy to set up. Just click off a button, it's there, and you just have to connect through your SSH to the Linode. And you have everything just like you set up like in your Raspberry Pi. You will be able to do that, but do remember there's no GUI, so no graphical user interface, so it'll be all terminal sessions, right? So prepare yourself before that, so that you know some of the Linux commands. So whether you buy from them like Ubuntu or any other operating systems, Linux operating systems, Red Hat. So you will be interacting with most of the Linux commands. So it's best to clear some of the basics out. And that's it for this section. So let's move to our slides, which is doing the end discussion. So guys, back to our slides. We almost can tick all of these. So we have set up a Raspberry Pi and did some additional setup before in the part A sections, and then deployed our board. And we have seen that some of the simulation or some of like replication of what we can do if we're moving to a cloud, and we discussed what are the some of the techniques that we can apply. Now for the end discussions, I will keep that somewhat simple in this case. So this is basically just a few points, to be honest, like about improving your overall program. Then if you're looking like if this has motivated you to do something really good for the community and for yourself, then I definitely would recommend looking into this. So what's the first that you see? It is caching and memorizations in computer science technique, we call them. So basically, when you're going to have a large data set, and you want to, let's say, go through each of the data, then your program will have some performance issues. And these are the few techniques that you can apply to get them somewhat better. And I'll explain some of the pros and cons here for you, but I will not deep dive again too much because this is more of an advanced. I'm not sure where you're going to start and where you're going to end from, but I'm just giving advice to everyone. It doesn't matter what your level you're programming at the moment. And so caching, what we'll do, it will cache some of the information. So let's say if you keep on requesting the same information of something that is taking too long for you to fetch from API or even other services, so you can cache them. Or you can cache in memory. So you can cache them in memory so that when somebody next time requests them, they will be directly passed to them, because it will check either this is available in memory or the program actually have to go and fetch it from the actual real-time data. So that actually helps a ton actually for doing that. The next technique is basically there are C-level library for Python. So they're like basically they basically somewhat behave or do things like C or C++. So C and C++ is a language, and they are considered one of the fastest language, basically, because they directly kind of interact with the embedded systems and whatnot, and they run very fast. Again, this PyPy and Cython or Cython, you can actually take a look at them, and they're very advanced. So what you'll be using this library to write some sort of C kind of structure code or whatever structure this library has given. So what they do, they improve your performance by a ton, basically, over top of the caching. So if like one of them definitely would improve a lot, but if you need further improvement, then you can do that. Now, let's say you have used and you kind of like not sure then why is your code is still not in performance, it's not giving the performance that you're looking for. And then you can look into something on your code, your data structure and algorithm. So data structure and algorithm are based on time and space complexity. So how much time your each method or each for loop or your variables or your statements are taking time, and how much space they are taking. So if you're looping through, let's say, a data which picks some numbers and some not, then you have to structure your data the way that it is efficient, elegant, that it takes less time and less space in the memory for the code. So this is purely based on learning some algorithms such as backtracking, brute force, and then some of the sorting algorithm, bubble sort, quick sort, merge sort. So these are some of the advanced techniques that you can apply actually to make your code much more better and efficient in this case. But I understand, guys, this will take some time to digest because it's a lot, and it's not something that you can achieve in one day. It will take time. It took me time to, because I'm just putting this video, I just didn't do this one day and everything worked. It took me a lot of time, a lot of practice, and a lot of fails attempts to before I can get my bots or any of the stuff that are relevant here to learn about them. It took me a lot of attempts in order to get them correct. So take your time and make a note if you have to on this, because I'm just giving you what you might face in the future and what I have faced and how did I overcome my problem, but with the possible solutions here. And I hope this slide was useful here. And again, thank you guys for showing so much support for my channels. And I am definitely thinking of doing some sort of part-time contents, because there's something like, for me, is a work-life balance, and I have to maintain that. I may not be active as other YouTuber that you usually see them, because they might be making full-time contents, but do understand me that not everybody in the same page. So it will take me some time to reply, get back to you. I'll make some contents in this case, but I'll try my best to do something over the weekend, and then basically probably next weekend to push new videos and make them available to you. But again, thank you so much, and I really appreciate, and thanks for hanging out. If you like my videos, make sure to like, share,